Hello and welcome to Stubtown, PSU TV's review show. Today, we're talking Arrival.
There are days that define your story beyond your life. Like the day they arrived.
Signs of what might be called first contact. The objects measure at least.
I'm Colonel G.T. Weber from Army Intelligence. Pack your bags.
You're at the top of everyone's list when it comes to translations.
Priority 1. What do they want? Where are they from? You'll be reporting to me, but you'll be working with him when you're in the show.
That's what they call in the UFO.
Who's being carted off in the medevac?
Not everyone.
Today with me, to my left, we have Zach Huckabee, the station manager for PSU TV. To my right, Tafadzwa.
Tafadzwa Nemarundwe.
Nemarundwe.
Yes.
He is our technical director at PSU TV. And we're just going to dive right in. Which one of you would like to give a quick little synopsis of the film? Like a little spoiler-free, like here's the basic outline.
Sure, I'll give the basic outline.
All right.
So, Arrival. It's this film, and it stars Amy Adams as this, she's like a genius linguist or something like that. She's like, any form of like languages and communication, she's like one of the top experts at it. And one day, you know, the government shows up to her, and they're like, some aliens just landed. Okay. And we need a way to communicate with them, and we'd like you to come in, and because you're the expert on it, on communication and whatnot, and you know, we need to figure out why they're here, what they want, and we just need to basically figure out stuff like that. So that's the base layer, without going too deep into it.
Sure.
But yeah, that's essentially it. It's just like trying to find out what these aliens want, why they're here.
Yeah.
And yeah. Not too difficult.
I'm going to add one thing, because it's fairly spoiler-free. The alien ships are all around the world.
Oh, yeah, there's 12 of them.
Which ends up playing a lot into, like, the drama of the movie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So let's start off. We'll talk about performances. How did you guys feel about this movie performance-wise? Was there any standouts for you? Any? Yeah.
I mean, Amy Adams. That's the actress name.
Yeah.
She did a decent job. I mean, it wasn't, for me at least, it wasn't a outstanding award, you know, performance. It wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was good. It was good. It was solid. I feel like, what's his name?
Jeremy Renner?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he did a great job as well. I think he did a solid job as well. I mean, there were a few moments where I was just like, but you know, just one moment. We'll talk about this in a second,
that's
but
I think there's a
one
particular moment, yeah.
I was just like, but
Come
you know.
But that's more a
Otherwise-
screenwriter than him, I feel like.
Yeah, but I mean, otherwise, it was a solid performance for Forrest Whitaker. He did he was Forrest Whitaker. You know, he did his thing. That's, you know.
He was so underused to me in this movie. Like, you could have replaced him with any actor, and it would have been like, you wouldn't notice. Like, not against Forrest Whitaker, just like, I like seeing him. Glad.
I think it was a fairly, I mean, I don't want to say a bland character, but it was just like, I also don't want to say generic, but it was very, very much like, it was just a standard role of like a military officer without much depth to it, and what was needed.
That was sort of one thing that I ran into with almost every character in this movie. You know, like she's a smart linguist. Everything else about her, I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah. I don't know anything about her other than she lives in a very nice house. Jeremy Renner, scientist, nerd guy. He's nice enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
with Amy's character, they did show us hints of her life outside of this thing, this event. But all the other characters, exactly like you said, you know, we didn't know anything about them. Like, we don't need to know much about them for them to fulfill their role in this film.
Right, but if I were to compare this to something like Jurassic Park, where like the background characters are all like actually like played to like be real people, or more fleshed out, I guess. Like even like Sam Jackson's character in that, like he's very much like a background character, but like you get a sense a real person there. And I don't know, I kind of miss that.
I think there goes overall. Just talk about the performances. I think it's
yeah.
on the ensemble is fine. Everybody does their job. They walk in, they hit their mark. You know what I mean? But but nothing's written. There's no like crazy scenes where they just have to draw it out of themselves. You know, it's not. That's just not what it is.
Yeah.
And overall, the comparisons to like Jurassic Park, I think it goes into that because there's not really. It's not. I don't want to say it's like a. It's definitely. I don't feel like it's a character-driven piece in any way.
But I think it wants to be, which is the
It
strange
may want
part.
to be at some parts, but I also like it didn't necessarily affect me. I don't really want to know more about Amy Adams other than what I got, and that's not that she did a bad job or that she's necessarily written poorly. It's just that I feel overall contempt in what like in
Contempt
what was
or content?
content, not contempt. Little slip of the tongue there. But no, I just feel that like what is given and what they set out to do was enough for me. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, that's totally fair.
But a little bit more Forrest Whitaker though. Just give me a little bit more of that.
So next we'll move on to sort of the cinematography and visuals. And I know you guys are both like, camera picture guys. What did you guys think of the look of this
I
film?
really liked what you didn't like.
Yeah?
I really liked what you didn't like. But
well, to start off, what didn't you like?
Just so everyone else knows, I really, and I've said this before on the show, like, I don't know, 4 times now, it just keeps coming up, that really, really shallow depth of field. And
beautiful.
I thought it actually got more in the way of this movie than most of the movies I pointed it out before. I literally thought she was like legally blind for half the movie, and the movie was trying to communicate with me that she had bad eyesight. But it's all just like the ones. I'm gonna do this in the spoiler-free section because it's like the second scene in the movie, right? When the aliens show up, she's in a classroom, right? She turns around, she's watching TV, and there's this great shot. It should be like an ensemble shot of her and the students. And it's her in focus, the students are out of focus, and then the camera has to cut behind her to put the students in focus instead of just giving some of that depth. Like, and I thought, oh, well, maybe this is a story thing, maybe it'll lighten up, but it's the whole movie. Every time any character is remotely alone or not outside, it is this like, everything here back is blurry. And I got really frustrated with it, especially since a lot of the stuff that's in close-up isn't interesting. She's walking through hallways, and the back of her head is in crystal clear focus, and everything that you want to see or care about is out of focus. And I'm just like, to me, it just got really grating. I was not a fan. Why were you a fan?
Well, see, all this stuff in the very beginning when she's, it's like some of the first shots in the film, so I don't think it's spoiling anything. If you watch it, it'll be like some of the first shots is her and her daughter.
Right.
And it's super shallow.
Right.
It's super shallow. Like, it's like at a 1.4 or something. It's real shallow.
Yeah.
But I love that. I get a very, I feel very emotionally connected to like that specific type of photography, and like when it's moving, and it's a lot of mobile shots in the beginnings and some of these similar sequences. When you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I just love those very intimate shots where it's I don't know, there's just a connection there.
Yeah,
and
I just can't shoot a whole movie that
you can. In fact, I think they should have done it more because there were parts of the film. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I think there were parts of the film like when they're like in their base, their like forward operating base or whatever, and it goes to a more, what would I say, generic cinematography of just like some shot, reverse shot, stuff like that. It becomes a lot more bland and more just a way of showing what's going on instead of a way of helping the story.
Yeah.
When I see those mobile cameras that are moving around all this stuff, and the depth of field brings me closer to them, and what lens they use and everything, making it close and making all the book really nice and pretty. I feel like that helps the story. The camera itself helps like not just show what's there, but brings you closer to it and helps tell the story.
See, I get the argument. I can see like a lot of that, and I totally agree. In like that first scene, it especially works really well. But I felt like a lot of times it was like just making me more aware of how the camera is there. Like where I'm so aware that there's a camera and I'm not like, it made it really hard for me to get immersed at times because like I was noticing that there was nothing to look at. Like especially like in the base when they were still going for that really shallow depth of field where like there's information on all these places and I can't see it and I don't know what is going on, so I'm just kind of left like frustrated and wildly aware that the camera is between me and the story. So it's like I think we both appreciate the effect, but we are the main point of contention is how much is too much.
I don't always mind knowing that there's a camera there. I don't always mind that. I'm a big fan of Lubetsky's cinematography. That's very much his style. I like people that go that Terrence Malick kind of way of doing things. Very much, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that, that type of stuff. Yeah. I don't mind it. I actually really, really enjoy it. But there's one shot in particular before I let you talk about it, T. I'm sorry. There's just one shot. I thought it was gorgeous, but it made no sense to me. When
is this a spoiler?
No, I mean, because you see that if you've seen the trailer, and I assume you do, you do see that they go into the ship or whatnot when they're in those orange hazmat suits.
I think I know
it's either Amy Adams or Jeremy Renner. They reach their hand up. They're in a scissor lift, and there's an opening in this ship that they need to go into, and there's a scissor lift, and it raises them up to their heads are almost touching, or maybe it's an arm's length away from the ship, and they get up to the bottom of the ship, and one of them reaches up and touches the top of the ship to where their hand is barely like that, and I'm like, oh, that's gorgeous. And then it starts moving, and it starts moving, and their hand is dragging across of it, and the score is playing. I'm like, oh, that's gorgeous. But why in the hell didn't they move the scissor lift underneath the hole and then raise them up?
I got a better question.
I'm like, why didn't they do that? It makes it's dangerous to drive a scissor lift around on outdoor terrain like that. What if you go over a bump and then somebody just slams their head up into this alien spaceship? That can't be good for no one.
Yeah, I mean, well,
gorgeous shot.
I am certified to operate those things. I can tell you they can do that.
They can,
but it's definitely a lot safer to do it another way.
Yeah, I don't
know.
Who
are these? These are our top scientists. They're the only ones on here. All right, let's risk their lives for.
Part of it had me thinking. I was like, which one of these military guys is like a scissor lift specialist? Like one of them's got to be. I was honestly thinking that. I was just like, is this guy, this lieutenant here, is he a scissor lift? Is he certified? Like, what's going on? The camera operator and that taking those photos. I'm like, you're not really moving that camera, man.
Well, I just like that they're like,
there's
aliens come all the way across there and they're like, yeah, but you have to make it 13 feet up to talk to us. Like, we can control gravity. We can totally mess with that stuff. But no, you make an effort. I don't know, that made me laugh. But anyway.
While we're still on cinematography,
yes.
I do personally prefer, I guess, deeper depth of field. You know, I don't prefer. I mean, that really shallow depth of field look it's gorgeous. I mean, it's great. It looks beautiful. But definitely has its uses. It didn't bother me though in this film. Bradford Young, pretty sure he's the DP for this. He did a solid job with this film. There were a lot of inconsistencies.
I saw 180 break too.
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
It
wasn't a good one.
I mean, there were definitely a lot of shots where it was pretty clear. Yeah, they just went for something that looks nice and not going on with this style that they have going on with the cinematography.
At the it feels like, just to bounce off that point, it feels like they set it up a specific way. And I know certain sections of the film are definitely done with that style, but I would wanted to see that carried out a little bit more. And it feels like they started with that particular style. I know what they did. They chose to shoot those specific sequences that way to make you feel a certain way. But I wish they would have carried that over just a little bit, just a little bit more.
Or visually separate the things out, like your flashbacks and your present tense, or like let us really know visually. I know why they didn't. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But before we get into all right, this is running a little long, and I think we all want to jump to the spoiler section pretty bad anyway. Yeah. We'll just have you guys do a quick summary of your thoughts, recommend, don't recommend, and So, T, if you want to start us out, you can.
Yeah, I would say that this was a pretty solid film. Definitely was not a disappointment for me. There've been a lot of disappointments this year.
Oh yeah, this is not a good year.
But yeah, one of the better films I've seen this year. Solid cinematography, solid acting. Really, I recommend it. I enjoyed it. I think that
sound design though.
Sound design was superb.
Even I got no shade.
Yeah, the sound design.
Yeah, no, that was great. Like everything was I wouldn't say above average. It was a little bit above average. It was exceptional. I'll say exceptional. Everything was exceptional, except for the acting. The acting was just, it was good. It was solid.
All right.
But yeah. Strong recommend from Tafazwa.
Strong recommend from Tafazwa. All right, Zach?
Yeah, I definitely want to start off, like, I definitely enjoyed the film. I liked watching it. I liked most of the cinematography. There wasn't any bad, parts in it that threw me off or anything like that. My viewing of the film, though, I was a little put off. I didn't like what a few audience members did. They kind of threw me out of the film.
You can't review the audience.
No, I know. The thing is that I didn't have the best viewing experience for it, which took me out of the film and made me, I don't know. So I'll have to see it a few more times to really sit down and just like isolate myself and watch it again. Okay. But I definitely liked it. Do I think it's like a perfect movie? I know people were raving about it when it came out. It's not a perfect film. It's a solid film. It's a solid hard sci-fi. We don't see enough of that. Like a thinking person sci-fi. This isn't just dumb your brain down. You won't like this if you like that.
We'll fight about that later.
But I thought it was a solid film. Go see it if you like that sort of thing.
All right.
Really, that's it.
It's a recommend from Zach.
Go see it.
And then hopefully I just straight up really did not like this movie.
Typical.
I thought there were some major pacing issues. I thought that the sci-fi elements ended up detracting from the theme it was going for overall. I thought that the actors were hamstrung by a lot of the creative decisions of the script and the direction that things took. Overall, it felt there are very few movies that at the end I am just begging to end, and at the end of this movie I was so ready for it to be over, and it kept going and going. So, if you want to know why I hated it so much, check us out in the spoiler section, because it's all spoilery. I can't talk about any of it here. But I hope you'll follow us over to the spoiler section. We're going to dig into the plot and all of the sci-fi elements. So, if you're curious about that, join us over there.